Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to achieve this gorge clean girl it girl makeup look. I've had a few comments over on Instagram and TikTok and I figured it would just be easier for me to show you exactly how I get this look. I don't want to gatekeep anymore, so here it is, girls. Every good look starts with skin prep, so I just go in with the Rhode Glazing Milk to start. I forgot something. Also, we need to get this hair out of my face before we do anything more. It's time for this glazing milk. Another good milky toner I have found is the Celamax one, and I believe that is a little bit more affordable than the Rhode as well, and it does just do the same thing. But this is really nice to just hydrate the skin and make those pores disappear. And then over the top of that I like to use the Rhode Glazing Mist just to really hydrate. That just makes me feel super fresh, especially if I'm doing my makeup early. Okay, now that we've set our face up for a good look, we're going to use a nice primer. The one I've been loving at the moment is the Maybelline Grippy Primer. I feel like this just does what I needed to do. It kind of acts as a serum as well. It hydrates as well as makes my makeup glue to my face, making sure it's all rubbed in. Okay guys, apologies, my camera died and I needed to let my skincare settle in, so I just made a nice strawberry matcha. Heaven is what I've got to say. Now we are moving on to our base. So I always like to start with the Saie Glowy Gel, and this is in Warm Glow, and I just put this on the high points of my face so that they shine. I even do a tiny bit on my forehead and a little bit on my nose and a tiny bit on my chin. I know everyone loves a matte look, but trust the process with this, because when you blend it with the Hollywood Flawless Filter by Charlotte Tilbury, mine is in 4.5 medium. And in warm, I believe. And then I also just dub this over my face, not mixing it with the glow gel yet, just so that when we blend it in, all of the points with the glow gel are a little bit more glowy than the rest of my face, and it just makes you look really glossy. It kind of gives like Scandi Glam vibes. And for me, I prefer using a brush rather than a beauty blender. I'd rather brush and then beauty blender than actually just do beauty blender, because I feel like a beauty blender soaks up all the product. The foundation, it just adds such a nice glow. And then you're going to get that effect on all the high points of your face, which is going to give you pretty much a facelift. Okay, now we are pretty much blended, but I know that you're probably thinking, Lucinda, your neck and face do not match. That's all good, because I've got a product just for that reason. On the days where I maybe haven't fake tanned, I like to use the Saie Brazilian Glow Bronzing Serum, and it is just like a literal serum, like a skincare kind of one, and I just get it on my neck. Oh, whoa. On my neck, and then I'll quickly save the day and blend her out, just to give it a more seamless look, especially like, you know, you don't want a line of where your foundation ends. You just want it to blend to really give that clean girl put together look. Okay, now we're going to brighten up our dark circles. So I like to use the Huda Beauty colour corrector in shade Cherry Blossom, and I will just put a tiny little bit of this under my eyes. You really don't need a lot, because a little goes a long way, and it is just going to warm up your whole face and get rid of those dark circles. I just like to blend this with a concealer brush, and then I will go in with a beauty blender over the top just to make sure there are no streaks. And already you can see how much brighter that looks. And then we are going to actually go in and put some concealer over the top as well. But before we do that, we're actually going to go in with a contour, and the reason I like to do this is because I prefer to apply this first and then the concealer, because it gives you pretty much a free facelift. So I am just using the Anastasia Beverlyhills contour stick in shade Minks. Now it's very important you have a cool tone contour stick, because that is going to give the shadow effect and what makes your cheekbones more snatched, your nose more snatched. Like, it has to be a cool toned. So I just do a tiny bit of this because I don't want to look too contoured, otherwise it can end up looking a little bit muddy. And you're also going to want to put a little bit on your nose just like this, and then I'm going to show you how I like to blend it to make your nose super long. And just going in with a brush in dabbing motions, you're going to blend that contour in, and it's very important you do dabbing motions, otherwise your makeup can end up patchy, which we do not Onto our nose contour. I've done it quite far out, as you can see, but that is because we are going to slightly drag it in as we blend and also drag it up. You never want to do too much nose contour, otherwise it is very obvious and people can tell like what you're trying to do. But I like mine to look very natural, and you're just going to drag it all the way down the nose just to really snatch the tip of it as well. And then you might have noticed I've done a little line here, and you're just going to drag that down in dabbing motions to make your nose look really like pixie light. And we are all blended, and now we're going to do our concealer. Don't worry, I didn't forget about it. Pretty much the only concealer I have used for the past 3 or 4 years has been the Hourglass concealer in shade Cotton. Now this is quite light compared to my base, but that is because it does a really good lifting effect. I also like to do it a bit in the middle of my eyebrows. For some reason it ends up a lot darker there, my skin tone, a little bit on my moustache area, you know, and then a tiny bit on the chin, and this is just going to make my face look like pop. So essentially I'm just going to have a little wow. Okay, and to blend my concealer I like to use the Hourglass concealer brush just because it works really well with the product, obviously, same brand, but it just makes your face look, and you've got kind of more control over where you're dragging the concealer. Now we have like a very good base. We're gonna go in and do the eyebrows. I know everyone kind of does this in their own order. I always do mine now. I don't think it really matters when you do it. I just like to do mine now. I'm using the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. I don't actually know what shade this is in. I'm gonna say it's the darkest one that's not black, because obviously my hair's quite dark, so I need my brows to kind of twin with that. And I just do tiny lines. I don't like my brows to be too darker than they already are, otherwise I do look a bit crazy. Okay, and once you've done all of your drawing in, we're gonna just brush it out just to make sure it's super well blended. Now that we've drawn in our brows, we need to make sure they stay in place. So I'm going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury Brow Fix, and this is just a clear gel, and this is just going to hold them where we want them and kind of lift up our eyes and make them look a little bit more lifted. This look is all about lifting and just, you know, looks maxing to the maximum. Okay, code red, I can't find the bronzer I want to use. I'll be back. You can relax, we found her. Saie, that's all. That's all you need to know. And it is the Dew Bronze in Spritz. This bronzer, life-changing. You'll notice I use a lot of cream products, and that is because that is the key to glowy skin. And I feel like matte products do not work for me. So yeah, I'm just going and putting this on the same place where I put my contour, again in dabbing motions. I'm not doing like a swipe because I don't want to remove any of the makeup or budge any of the makeup I've already put on. I'm also doing a little bit here because that's what makes you look like you've been in the sun all day and makes the bronzer actually look natural, and then some streaks on the forehead. And I don't think you guys are ready for how glowy this is about to be. It just looks so natural and it just warms your whole face up. It is like the one step I've been missing my whole life, and I recently tried it and I'm like, okay. So this is the blended side. As you can see, it just makes your face look so warm. I'm gonna go in with our blush. This is one of my favourite parts, and I am gonna put you guys onto the best blush I've ever used. Of course, it is one of the Rhode Pocket blushes. I have mine in shade Piggy. Personally, this is the best shade, full stop. I like to put my blush really high up because the higher up you put it, the more lifted your face is. Let me just get these gross hairs off my face. I like to put it up here. I don't like to go anywhere past the centre of my eye, and then I'll do the same on the other side, kind of dragging it up to where the ear is. I also do a tiny little streak on my forehead and a tiny little bit on my nose. Again, we're going to be blending in dabbing motions. Obsessed. We are going to be using the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette. Now this is a staple in my makeup kit because number one, it's insane. You've got all the colours you need for every day. I start off with this lovely nude shade, and I just use that as kind of like a setter for my eye, and it just makes my eye look super bright. Use a more, I don't know how to say, more flimsy brush, and I like to use this shade over here, and I kind of use it as like a bit of a bronzer in the crease, just to really like dramatize, and it just adds a little bit of, you know, something. And for the most important step, setting. If your makeup doesn't last, there was no point doing the makeup. So it is really important that you get a good setting spray that you love. Personally, my all-time favourite is the Airbrush Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, but alternatively the All Nighter Urban Decay is also really, really good. I just feel like this gives me more of a lighter spray. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I just get this and I don't go easy with this. I like to go ham, just because you need your makeup to set. Before you touch your face again, you do want this to dry, just to make sure everything is locked in and nothing is going to move. I'll be back once my face is set. It usually takes about 2 or 3 minutes. Once our face is set, we are going to go in with an eyeliner. I like to do a very subtle wing. I feel like it does just make my eyes look a little bit more cat eye because I have really big round eyes. I kind of do the opposite and try and make them look more snatched. So I'll show you how I do it. I always start with curling my eyelashes because I like to work around them, and I feel like this smudges my eyeliner if I don't do this before. I usually get my lashes lifted, but I haven't had one in a while because I'm having a bit of a break to try and get my lashes nice and healthy. Okay, already I look 10 times better just after an eyelash curl, but I'm just using the L'Oreal Perfect Slim Superliner. I'm going in the inner corner and doing a very thin line, and I'm going to carry that thin line all the way around to the other side, keeping it very thin and close to the lash line. And when you get to about here, you're going to make it a tiny little bit thicker, just a tiny bit. I'm going to make a little wing. I usually start where my lashes are and then just do a little line up. So this is our finished wing, and then I'm going to do the same on the other eye. Also, a little top tip for anyone that is a little bit scared of eyeliner, just because I do get it. If the wing goes wrong, that's the whole look, done. But if you use a brown eyeliner, for example, this is not the one I was going to show, where is it? For example, I like to use the NYX Professional Epic Ink Liner, and this is in brown, and it actually looks really nice and a lot more natural, and it kind of like zones you into doing it, if that makes sense, like without the pressure. And also this is really easy to get off, so yeah, this is a lovely little option if you're new to eyeliner or a little bit scared. After eyeliner, I like to do the Sky High by Maybelline mascara, and I just do this all over my lashes. I start at the root and work my way up, very important. And I just do this across the whole lash and make sure you don't miss the inner corners. And then on the bottom lash, I just like to do a tiny dab. I don't like to carry it down the whole lash because I do have very long bottom eyelashes and I do look like a bit of a creepy doll if I do the whole eye. Time for our first powdered product. I am going to go in with the Huda Beauty Duo powder, and I'm going to be using the pinker shade. I believe this is Cherry Blossom, I believe, and this also helps colour correct out any dark circles. Pink and reddy tones are really good for cancelling out the darker spots on your face, so that's why I use the pinker tone under the eye, and I just do a tiny bit. I don't like too much because this is a glowy look, as you can see. A little goes a long way, and then we're just going to repeat the same on the other eye. You do not need a lot at all. And then we're going to switch over the duo, and we're going to use the more peachy, not the peachy shade, the more beigey shade. And we're just going to use this to carve out our face pretty much. So we're going to do this on cheekbones here. Oh, I love it. And then the other side. And then also our nose, because we love a snatch nose. And then I'm also going to go in with parts of my forehead just to set it. It will still be glowy, it just won't be as shiny as such. So whilst I'm finished baking, I'm just going to use lashes like this. These are just individuals, bit of lash glue, and I'm just going to put them on the outer corner, starting with a longer one on the very outside and then a shorter one closer in. Just because, look at the difference. Like, I know it's small, it's still quite natural, but it does just add a little something else. And then I'm just going to do the same on the other side. Bosh. And another little baby one. Bosh. Just like that. We've leveled up, you know what I mean. Gonna wait for this to finish baking, and then I'm gonna come back and wipe it all off. We are going to dust all the powder off now that we are lovely and set. Okay, few things we're missing. I might go over the top with a bit of powder. So I've got the One Size pink blush palette. I'm just going to go in with a tiny bit of pink on the cheekbones just to make myself look nice and rosy. And then I'm also going to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Instant Look in a palette and go in with the bronzer in here and just do a tiny bit just to, you know, reaffirm our work that we have done already. And these products actually mix really well together, so you won't get any patchiness. Last but not least, let's do a lip combo. Come on girls, let's do it. When it comes to lip combos, I am very stuck in my ways. I use this lip combo every day. Starting off strong with the Beauty Crop Lipped Cream in shade Churro. This, I stand by this. This is one of my favourite lip liners and always has been. And I just use this to slightly overline the lips. You don't want to do too much. I mean, unless that is your vibe, go for it. I feel like it does look a tiny bit silly on me. I just do a tiny little overline. Perfect. And then I do the other side, the other lip. It's nothing too dramatic, but still adds a little something. And this will last as well, which is a great thing. And I go in with this ancient relic, the Baby Lips Lip Balm in Pink Punch, just because I love the pink. And I just do a tiny little bit just to add a bit more of a pink tone. Super duper cute. And then over the top of her, I like to use the Beauty Crop lip gloss. I don't actually know what one this is. This is from the Jordan Lipscomb range, and it just adds a gorge shimmer, as you can see. Obsessed. Okay, and we are done. If there are any finishing touches you like to go in and do at the end, this is your time to do it. But for me, this is my makeup look complete. I love it. I feel like it's very me. It's warm and glowy. It complements everyone. And it is perfect for this time of year, spring, summer vibes. I am just obsessed. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments because I would love to do more makeup inspired videos. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Make sure you check me out on my socials. I'll put them here. I do lots more makeup content over here as well. And I will see you guys next video. Bye!